Hey everyone, Kevin here. I need a little bit of your help. This house, I closed escrow on about 2 weeks ago. In this video, I'm going to go through the different options I have. Flipping the house and how much money I would make, turning the house into a legal triplex and how much money I would make, or turning the house into a long-term rental and how much money I would make. But I need your help to figure out which one I should do. I bought the deal because it sold for significantly below a similar house that sold right around the corner. In fact, here's that similar house. It's roughly the same square footage. This place has dual paned windows, and so does the place I bought. The place around the corner sold a year ago for $815,000, and it has rocks for a roof. When you go inside, you can definitely see it's been zenned out. We've still got the original oak kind of doors, we've got concrete flooring, and we've got some other dated elements throughout the property, yet it's still sold for $815,000. It even has a basic commercial grade carpet in the bedrooms and chocolate and yellow colored cabinetry. Not to mention, then they did chocolate and pink for Valentine's Day, which is very similar to the coupon code we've got going on down below. But let's just be clear, the place somehow sold for $815,000 with a smaller functional backyard, with less upgrades, a rock roof, and some crazy cabinetry. On the other hand, my place looks a little rough on the outside, but it's got a newer composition shingle roof, it's got dual paned windows as well, it's got some beautiful hardwood flooring on the inside, and overall needs way less work than the place that sold for $815,000. And we're about the same square footage. So now I have a little bit of a quandary. I bought this place for $660,000 off the MLS by scrolling through Redfin and coming upon this as a potentially good deal. I wrote an offer on it before ever even looking at the inside of it. This is what I call your basic wedge deal, something where it's a slam dunk, no-brainer. You bought a place for $660 that honestly, looking at the other one, is probably worth well over $850,000 once I fix it up. And because it's still got some nice hardwood floor, it's already got nicer doors, I mean, all we're really talking about here is painting, a little bit of hardware, maybe scraping the ceiling and throwing in some new light fixtures, new countertop, a couple new appliances, and calling it a day. That is, my budget for remodeling this place is less than $45,000. So in other words, I picked up a deal that's worth $850,000 after $45,000 worth of work for $660,000. Which basically means there's a $145,000 spread between what the place is worth after my fix-up costs and what I paid for it. AKA, by me going into a house, painting it, changing some door handles, and putting in light fixtures, I create $145,000 in value. And this was a deal that was on Redfin. But now I'm curious, should I flip it? Should I rent it? Or should I turn it into a triplex? And those are the numbers that I need help with today, and I'm hoping you can do that with me. By the way, in most markets, deals like this come on the market every single week. You just have to know how to look for them, how to renovate them, and how to make money off of these deals. And how to make money off basic deals like this, I mean, this is easy stuff. You're talking about moving boxes and cleaning up and changing light fixtures is exactly what I teach you in my real estate investing course, linked below. Check out that Valentine's Day coupon as well. But for now, the 3 options. Let's get this one out of the way first. Let's say I flip this property. Let's say I clean it up, I put in the newer stuff, and you know what? Let's say for a flip, I end up spending $60,000. I put in a little bit more because I spend a bit more knowing this place is gonna be on the market and there's gonna be a home inspection, so little extra things are gonna come up anyway. Then let's say I could sell it for $850,000, which in my opinion shouldn't be a problem given that a year ago, a place in pretty crappy condition sold with a rock roof for $815,000. Well, in that case, my math would look like this. $850,000 is what I sell it for, minus realtor fees, leaves me with $807,500. Oh, and just a heads up, I'd be paying myself half of those realtor fees because I'm a realtor. Then I've got $60,000 set aside for fix-up and holding costs, which leaves me with $747,500. Now, $747,000 left over minus what I paid for the deal of $660,000 means I created $87,500 with one silly deal. Like, to me, this is a basic deal just because I bought a stupid single family house. It's crazy the amount of money that's available in the single family space. This is why I tell everybody, you gotta take advantage of this stuff. So I could take a fat profit now and run. The problem with this is if I take my $87,500 and I pay short-term capital gains taxes on this deal, I'm gonna be paying somewhere around 35% in taxes on the deal because I live in the state of California. That means I'm gonna have a net profit of $57,000 in my pocket. After taxes, everything's said and done. That's really good. Now, option number 2 is turning this into a triplex. I could turn this into a triplex by going over here to the addition, closing off this left wall and the right wall here, and turning this entire back portion into a separate living space. This would be about a 530 square foot living space, which would make for a great 1-bedroom room rental. But I had to design that because it's a little bit of an elongated shape. So I did what I always do, and I went to SketchUp. I made many different iterations, as you can see here, and I finally came up with this. Now, I didn't finish designing this because I was too lazy to do it. I just wanted the floor plan. So you're gonna have to roll with me on the vision here really quick. And I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. Basically, imagine this is the bedroom over here, where all these holes are like windows and doors. This is the bedroom, this is the closet, this is your master, so there's a door right here closing it off. You walk in, boom, you got yourself a bathroom. Stackable washer dryer, water heater, vanity, toilet, shower, boom, you're done. You walk out of the master, here's your front door. Hello, front door. Come in from the outside, you got your little private backyard. Over here, you got a big open space, which is gonna serve as your dining room, kitchen, and family room, open space, whatever. Not a bad floor plan. And yeah, that is me patting myself on the back because I spent a lot of time coming up with different versions of this floor plan and trying to find what would work the best. Then the second thing that I could do with this property is I could come over here to the garage and I can actually turn this garage into a unit itself. Garages are about 20 by 20, so I'd have about an interior space of somewhere around 360 to 380 square feet. Since properties are measured from the outside, I lose a little bit of square footage because of the wall. But anyway, I could turn this into another living space. Ideally a 1-bedroom, because 1-bedrooms rent for more money. Now with the garage, I didn't have to go through as many iterations, but this is the one that I came up with. Basically, the front door is over here. You walk in, you've got your open living space, boom, you got your kitchen right as you walk in. You got a bedroom over here that you walk into, and your bathroom over here. Relatively similar setup. The most important thing is always making sure that you have at least like a 10 by 10 for a room though, and the rest of the space you really want to dedicate to the open space. Now, the cool thing about turning this into a triplex would mean rather than just renting out the entire property, I now have 3 legal units. I'd be able to rent this main house out for about $2,500. I could rent out the garage for about $1,000, and I could probably rent out the back unit for maybe $1,200 to as much as $1,300. $2,500 plus $1,000 plus $1,300 gives me about $4,800 in income, which for a $660,000 place isn't that bad. But there are some problems associated with that, and I want Lauren to talk about those problems.
Tell me more. Why do you hate this ADU idea, and is it not worth giving it a shot?
I hate this ADU idea for many reasons.
Oh, that's the triplex idea, by the way, in case you're wondering what that means.
First, I don't like multi-units from a manager's perspective. I think that it makes people want to move quicker. It creates neighbor feuds very easily, and it's very management intensive. Second, I think here amongst a bunch of other single family homes, I think you will literally be hated. That's 2. 3, I just think that it's kind of, I don't know, like a little bit like, what's the word?
Slumlord?
No. What's the word, like, not corny, but like...
Tacky?
It's a little tacky, yeah. It's a little tacky to convert this single family home into 3 units.
But Lord, what about the cash flow?
I don't care. I told Kevin I'm not managing it if it's turned into a triplex, but I would gladly manage it if it were a single family home.
Why are you making me do it?
Because I don't want that. I got a lot on my plate, Kev. I manage all these houses, and I have 2 kids.
Well, I don't want to do the management.
Well, then don't change it.
What about, I mean, like when you walk up to this house, it looks like crap. You know, there's stuff missing, it's blackened, discolored, there's rust up there, there's rot over there, the landscaping looks bad. Like everything just looks, like how is this even a profitable deal?
Well, because you're getting a good wedge. If it were, you know, selling for the same as the relatively fixed up places, of course you wouldn't buy it. But if you get enough of a wedge deal and then you know what you're doing and you have the contractors that you know that can help you out, then it's easy. It's very simple.
And the other question is, do you think converting this into a triplex runs the risk of possibly devaluing the actual house itself?
Yeah.
So
For resale, yeah. Plus the unknown costs because we have never converted a single family home into a triplex. So what's that going to be?
Well, that's where hopefully the contractor takes care of that, but you never know. There's always
come up
change orders
when
come
you
up,
don't
right?
know.
So anyway, then you're paying a contractor $100K, the fee's $15K, you're hated in the neighborhood. You're getting more cash flow, but we got to calculate an ROI on that because all of a sudden we spent $115K. But wait a minute, that $100K is only to do the conversion. So what happens now when you do the conversion? Oh crap, we still have 2 bathrooms in that kitchen to remodel. So, and I mean, we're not talking about a massive amount of remodeling, but we're still painting the outside of the house, we're still doing the inside, we're still gonna be doing like 20 to 30K of the other work we would have been doing to the rest of the house anyway. So now add 20 to 30 on top of that, all of a sudden you're into this deal now. Instead of for a $40,000 renovation or $45,000 renovation, now you're into the deal for $155,000.
So then, okay, so say your cash flow that you get from it being a triplex, how much time would it take with those months of the 3 people paying to equate the so much more cost of the renovation?
Well, no kidding. Well, not only that, but I mean, if you're buying it for $660, then you put $155 in, and that's going to take months to get done,
Yeah.
which means your holding costs are going to be through the roof. You literally give away every dime of wedge that this deal has.
I just thought of another reason why I hate the idea of a triplex.
Yeah, giving away the wedge sucks, first of all.
I think it'll be harder to find qualified people wanting to live in this scenario.
Why? I mean, people live in, you know, studios all the time. Is it because
But
this
it's-
city is different?
This area is different. I feel like they would prefer to rent like a studio in an apartment complex that maybe has some amenities that are nice. And sure, it could be cheaper or whatever to rent a garage basically, but what kind of person is okay with renting a tiny little garage? Are they qualified? I just feel like it really, really narrows your pool of people.
I think I see what you're saying, because what kind of person rents a garage in our area?
Yes.
Like if this were New
Yeah,
York
yeah.
City or
No.
San Fran, that's a bitchin' spot.
No,
like
totally.
that could be an awesome 1-bedroom, right? It'll beat some of the really small things you got.
Yeah.
But out here,
It's
I mean,
not normal.
around the corner they have 2-bedroom, 1-bath units that rent for like $1,600. And they're 1,000 to 1,100 square feet.
And they probably have amenities.
Yeah, well, and this is 400 square feet.
Right.
And then there's no covered parking.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you're losing covered parking for 3 tenants. They don't get covered parking anymore. They don't get covered parking, and the people in the back don't get covered parking.
Yeah, and then how are we splitting up the backyard? That's going to be all like botched up too. That's weird.
Oh, and I bet you the contractor won't include in the pricing the cost for the fence, which means I have to call a fence person to do that. So I can actually see, not only by going in this triplex direction, giving away the entire wedge of this deal. Not only giving away the entire wedge, possibly going into the negative because all the extra things we don't know about. And then on top of that, you think it'll be a management nightmare.
Yeah, and I think the turnover would be crazy.
So that's why you're saying you don't want to do it. You don't want the work.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
okay. Fair enough. Because I think a big thing that we're always talking about too is like, what can we do to make owning real estate as stress-free as possible? Because, and look, I love investing in stocks and all that as well, because you don't have to do anything. I mean, like, for example, and I don't think you can hit the lottery like this all the time, but you buy a ton of Tesla stock. Like, that's easy. I didn't have to do anything for that.
Yeah.
And it basically paid for my car, those gains. But I feel like that involves a little bit more market luck than coming into something like this. And I know it's worth $660. I know I can keep my expenses under $45. And I know it's going to be worth over $8. Like, that's guaranteed to me.
Yeah.
There's no luck involved.
Right.
What do you like?
no, I totally agree. I keep it simple.
I feel like you're converting me.
No, I'm so thrilled because honestly, when we stepped into this
My idea.
area and we were going through it, I thought Kevin, and maybe you did, full on wanted to do a triplex still. And I'm like, I don't want a triplex. I guess I'll review it, whatever. And now, I don't know how, but I just converted him into wanting a single family home. So perfect.
So you're really happy about that is what you're saying?
Oh, I'm thrilled. Yeah, I just like literally like can think of the nightmares of like, oh, the main house has a baby and it screams in the middle of the night and I don't like that. And then the back house being like, oh, the baby, blah, blah, blah. And then the main house will be like, well, I don't like hearing them having their hookups every other weekend, so.
Well, I mean, what we could do is we could then soundproof the walls like we did for my studio.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
So option number 1 is flip the place and take an $87,000 profit right away. Option number 2 is turn this into a triplex and milk as much cash flow as possible. But the problem with that is you'd have to spend like another $120,000 and you'd really be giving away a lot of the value of the property. Not only that, but it's probably not going to be an $850,000 house anymore. It's probably going to be devalued to like a $775,000 rental property. So option number 2 takes a lot of money, but in the long run, if I don't care about selling it, it'll create a lot of extra cash flow every month. Now, option 3 is turning this into a long-term rental. Unfortunately, the long-term rental for this kind of property isn't going to be as wonderfully lucrative because there's going to be very little cash flow because the house is very expensive. There'd be more cash flow if this had been a cheaper deal from the get-go. It's still a good deal because we have options. But as a single-family rental, this property might rent for around $3,400. The all-in payments on this deal, with principal, interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, utilities, reserves, everything, are about $3,200, which leaves you only $200 cash flow. However, the cool thing about turning this into a rental is you're taking control of extra equity that now, if you wanted to, you could use to leverage other really good deals. You could hold this for a couple years and then flip it. You could turn it into a triplex down the road, or you could literally just keep it for 30 years, rent it out and generate more cash flow by raising the rent every single year, say $50. And after 5 years, instead of cash flowing, say $200, you're now cash flowing $450 or $500 or whatever. And you basically have a property that doesn't cost you anything, that's increasing your net worth, not only through tax benefits and principal pay down, but over time, appreciation, and the fact that you got the deal $150,000 under value. So I don't know, what do you think? What do you think the best option for this deal is? I personally hate to say it because I don't like flipping real estate because I don't like paying other real estate agents, but I'll tell you, a flip is starting to look somewhat desirable. And see, this is the cool thing about what I teach you in my real estate investing course. When I teach you how to buy good deals, you get options. By having options, you could decide, do I want $87,000 in profit right now? Do I want to turn it into a triplex and get some more cash flow? Or do I just want simple pimple, no headache, hold this thing for 30 years and be on the ride of building wealth in the long term? The other cool thing that comes with renting it out is if another good opportunity comes up in the future, you could always decide to flip the property then. So it's kind of like a little store of value until your next opportunity comes up. I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer on this deal, but I can tell you there are pros and cons to each of them. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.